Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to the Imagine More Success radio show. It's the hot new all about you show with successful entrepreneurs and business experts sharing their stories and powerful takeaways while providing you with the tips, tools, tactics, and a free weekly gift to help you thrive. Your hosts for the Imagine More Success radio show are the best-selling author Cindy Hendricks, who is a certified business consultant, and Thomas Hides, a certified world-class public speaking coach. Check out the Imagine More Success radio show at imaginemoresuccess.net, because now is the time for you to realize your dreams and to imagine more success. Thanks for joining us today. We're really looking forward to spending some time with you. We've got a really great show ahead of us today. We're going to be talking with a sales expert who is going to be giving you some really fabulous tips on how you can maybe 2x, maybe 3x, maybe even 10x your business revenue in the coming year. You know, I know that a lot of times when you're listening to a show and you're learning about sales, you're learning from people who have some ideas about how to make sales. The gentleman we're talking with today is named Jim Padilla. He's the CEO of Gain the Edge, and as the founder of Gain the Edge, he's known in the personal development and business coaching world as a go-to guy for all things sales and as a powerful collaborator. He's got a tremendous team of rock stars, including his wife, Cindy, and they partner with some of the top industry leaders to exponentially increase their online launch and their back of the room revenue. He's worked with some people like Josh Turner, Justin Livingston, Lisa Sasevich, and Bill Barron, and he's got a really unique behind the scenes position, gives him a really unique vantage point that most people don't have. And at his job, or at his business at Gain the Edge, Jim is known for instilling into a sales team the quote, "It's not what you say, it's who you are being when you say it." So we want to go ahead and welcome Jim to the show today. Jim Padilla, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate the time and the intro. And you, Thomas, I just want to say you've absolutely got a voice for radio, man. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, he does. Hello, Jim. So thrilled to have you on the show today.
Thanks, Cindy.
Yes, I'm a different Cindy, though.
Yes.
Anyway, I am so thrilled to talk to you about several things that you're about, because you are just such a rock star your own self. And how about that 10X, huh?
Yeah, 10xing is vital. It's interesting because in today's market, 10x can be hyperbole, right? For a lot of times, 10x
Yes.
this, 10x that, and a lot of times it just doesn't even seem real. But we're finally at a place in history where it is real, right? It's never been easier to start a business. It's never been easier to exponentially grow your business and your opportunities, your visibility, your reach. So when we talk about 10xing, the only reason I don't talk about it as often as I do is because most people just don't believe it. But it is
They don't.
viable. It's
They
so
don't.
real.
And I want to share with our listeners today that Jim is such a busy guy, 1, 2, 5, 10xing his clients, that it's taken me months to get him on the show today. So if you have something else to do, you need to cancel it so you can listen to this guy because he knows his stuff.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I humbly receive that, but it is true. I mean it's just out there. So hopefully we'll set some breakthroughs for you today. Just at least get some things really clear for you that you can do, that will actually move the needle exponentially for you.
Jim, take a moment, explain a little bit what is it about this point in history in 2020 that makes it so much easier for people to have these kind of results than it was, say, 5 years ago?
Yeah, gosh, and even 5 seems so long ago. Well, the main things are everything is accessible. That doesn't cost you, right? It used to. I remember my first website cost me $14,000, and it didn't even work, right? And at least it didn't do whatever it was supposed to do. And I know people who spent 10 times that, and now you can literally get a website for free. I mean, you can spend a fraction of that to have an exponentially powerful website that can do things. And I'm not recommending that. I'm not saying go get a website. I'm just saying it is easier to get any technological resource you need. Everywhere out there is a free version and or somebody that you can hire very economically to implement and execute. The other thing here's the real one. This for me is where the rubber meets the road. 6 degrees of separation is a term that has always been used. And that's because we've always been, no matter, even without technology, you knew one person who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew the person you needed to know. And that's powerful.
That's very true.
But with technology and social media as it is, you are 1 degree of separation. You could have somebody on your list who can change the trajectory of your business and your life forever. And if not that person, I guarantee somebody on your list knows that person.
That is really true. It really blows my mind.
It's very true, but sometimes it takes a while to find just the exact person that you need, especially when it comes to that big website you're trying to build.
Yes. And you know what, though? We often make it a lot harder than it is. Because we're trying to say the perfect things and we're trying to be the perfect person when all we really need to do is be ourselves and be clear. The more we talk about what matters to us, the more we talk about what we are experts of, those people will show up. Those people will, because they're going to listen. Because what you say will actually be different than 99% of what other online marketers are saying and what other people are doing. And we're usually spending too much time trying to be popular instead of just trying to be accurate.
That really hits home. That really makes sense. I've seen that a lot, and I would agree with that. Yeah. Jim, in your work, do you often find that when people first come to you, they maybe have what to them seems like an unrealistic goal, and then they end up surpassing it?
Yes, I do. And unfortunately, we still, as humans, tend to see the short side of the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And, I don't remember who the original quote was attributed to, but I've heard it many times, where I would much rather have a goal be too big and miss it than a goal be too small and hit it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's because we fear those bigger things because we don't think it's possible. We haven't seen direct evidence in our own lives that we're capable of it. And so even though, you may have accomplished it, I'm telling myself, well, yeah, but that's Thomas. Thomas is great. He could do this. Cindy's already done that. Well, this is going to work for her, but I I don't know how it would work for me. So then we minimize what we're doing, and to the point where we don't even take practical reason in place. Like, okay, I'm going to make $100,000 on this, but after it's all told, in order for you to earn 100, you probably had to spend 150, which would mean that was a failure. And
right.
so if you actually do the math and just be logical and say, okay, well, this is going to cost me 150 to do, so my goal needs to be at least 200.
Yeah, or significantly more than that.
Or God willing, amen. I would say more like 1 million, right? But,
right.
Yes. So the key is to think bigger. Jim, my first boss called me Cindy Shoot for the Moon because I did exactly that. And I told him to get out of my way because I was going to achieve everything I told him.
Yeah.
And he ended up promoting me because I told him if he wouldn't, I was going to go interview for the positions that I wanted if he wasn't going to give it to me.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, You know what? On some level, here's the key. You must have been believable.
I was very determined. Very
Right.
determined.
And the believability comes just from speaking truth. If you know, I don't know where anybody here stands on their relationship with God. I roll with Jesus. That's how I roll. He's my Lord and Savior, and the Bible is my foundation for how I work. But God promised me the abundance, the cattle on the hills, and all that I can see in my kingdom. As long as I do things the way that I'm supposed to, and He puts convictions in my heart. And if He would not put a conviction in my heart, if He didn't also equip me with the opportunity to be able to execute on it, right? Whether it's through relationship, through opportunity, through people. If you have a dream that's burning inside of you, somewhere out there is the tool, the relationship, or the resource to execute on that dream. You don't have to know the how. You just need to know what it is and why you want it. And the more clear you are on it, the more you can speak about it, the right people will show up into your life, into your circle, that will help you execute on it. And I have done this so many times. There's nothing that anyone can say that will ever bring a shred of doubt to me on that. And that's why, like whatever Cindy was saying to her boss in that scenario, she showed up and she spoke truth, and she spoke it out in a way that her boss believed her. Otherwise, he would have thought she was crazy and said, go ahead, go find a job somewhere else.
Exactly. Well, I don't know how people can get through a day without having faith. You have to have faith. I just, that's been my mantra since I was a small girl.
Yeah. It's you have to have it. Whatever it is that you believe in. I really hope that you're being driven by a source that's greater than you, because on our own we're just not capable of much.
No.
No matter how hard you work.
Well, and you don't have that army behind you pushing you to get it done, or offering you the opportunities because of that faith. Amen.
Yeah. I will say I'm in our company and in our circles. I'm definitely the unrealistic one, so to speak. I'm the delusional one in the company that I scare my leadership team all the time. I'm like, no, we're going to do this, and this. We're going to have 10,000 people in this group, and then we have one program that if my goal is 10,000 people in it, and we just started it, so we have we're pushing towards our first 100 right now. But out of 10,000 people in that group, it's $1 billion program.
Wow.
And then we're acquirer, and we're exit. And I already see it. It's a done deal. Now we just got to go about doing the work.
Well, that's where the visionary part of you comes in.
Yeah. So, guys, we want you to stick around. We're going to hear from our sponsors for just a couple quick minutes. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Jim Padilla, who is the visionary and founder at GainTheEdgeNow.com. Definitely come back and check us out on the Imagine More Success radio show in just a couple of minutes.
Patty Conklin grew up in Brooktondale, New York with a unique ability. Unlike others, she could see how the vibration of words and emotions affected the physical body. She discovered how to release stored emotion and facilitate healing. This began today's Conklin method of cellular cleansing. The private practice grew with tremendous results, as did her reputation. More and more people sought her out, bringing her into the home for healing. She soon realized she could even teach this to others, and they could shift perception and thus prevent illness from occurring. Patty Conklin quickly became a frequent keynote speaker, and she developed a curriculum for teaching the Conklin method of cellular cleansing. For more information, visit pattyconklin.com, PattiConklin, pattyconklin.com, or call 404-474-0086. That's 404-474-0086.
Mission Evolution is dedicated to the well-being of the planet and animals, as well as the evolution of humankind. One major factor threatening all three is increasing toxicity. Heavy metals and other environmental toxins are poisoning our bodies, deteriorating our brains, blocking our spiritual connection, and shortening our lives. Yet these poisons are extremely difficult to remove. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, and I recently became aware of a product created from the marriage of nature and nanotechnology called Vitality. It's formulated from zoolite, whose crystalline structure binds toxins, gently carrying them out of the body. The light is only as clear as the window through which it shines. Clear your body, shine your light into the world. Visit vitalityhappens.com for a 20% discount. Enter code PATHHOME.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
You're back on the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. In our previous segment, we were catching up with Jim Padilla, who is the visionary captain of the ship, along with his wife Cindy, at Gain the Edge, where you can find it at gaintheedgenow.com. In our previous segment, we were talking to Jim about how to begin to build tremendous sales in your business. And Jim, you said to start first with vision, really, and to have the expectations of what's possible change so that you begin to look at much bigger goals and much bigger goal sets. Once you see one of your clients begin to have that experience with having the bigger goal set, how does that translate into their day-to-day operations?
You know, it's great. I'm a huge proponent of growing team before they're ready. And that's a scary concept for a lot of entrepreneurs because most people think, well, I'll hire somebody as soon as I have the money. And my concern with that is you may never have the money if you don't hire these people. I'm a firm believer in hiring best in class within your budget, what you can afford. Sure. Obviously you don't go out and if you're just trying to you're trying to make your first six figures, you don't go hire a six-figure CEO. But you want somebody who's at least going to be thinking that way and moving you that level. If you want somebody who's at least a level above you so that they can help get you there. But my big thing is help find the people who will own the piece of what you do. And by owning that, here's the best example that I was ever given. If you can talk, like we talked about before, just speak to your vision, speak to the clarity, speak to what you want to accomplish. And if you're looking for, say, an ops manager, you don't want an ops manager that says, that's fantastic, tell me what you need me to do. Because what they've done is effectively given you a job. What you want them to do is say, that's awesome, here's what I will do. Now they've already demonstrated they can take it from you and free you to be able to pursue it even further and at a greater detail. And that's how you want to bring people on at every level. You want people who are experts of the problem and who will own it because they want to help build it with you.
And isn't it incredible? Thomas and I have had that conversation this past week.
Yeah. We have. We were talking about some of these very same concepts about finding people that really can take the ball and run on their own rather than finding people that we have to kind of, guide a little bit. And, when you have someone who really takes the initiative and who understands how to fix the problem in the first place, then you're really paying for that expertise, and you're paying for a level of commitment and results that is very different than what I think a lot of people are ending up with when they're, say, outsourcing or hiring their first employee.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the biggest piece. You want to be thinking that through at all times as who's the person who can help me get there. I focus on the who, not the how. There's a whole lot of things that happen inside of our company. We've been very blessed, a multi-million-dollar company. We've sold over $250 million in products for our clients. There's 90% of the stuff that happens inside my company. I don't even know how it happens. I don't even have logins to half the stuff in our company. And I go into Infusionsoft and I literally only go and look at the dashboard. I don't know the first thing about how to create an email or pull up reports or do anything. Everything is, I go to one spot because my job is to have a relationship with the marketplace, to be the voice and be the face of the company, and to be bringing in relationships that bring in extra 6-figure revenue streams or 7-figure revenue streams, because I'm literally living the things that I've been talking about. And that's the reason I know it works.
And it's all about that dog and pony show, isn't it?
Hey, it is.
I used to tease the CEOs that I worked with over my career, and when I said that, they just laugh at me, and I'd say, "Well, that's what it is."
Yeah.
Well, what really sticks out for me is when you said who, not the how, and I think there's a big part of the population and I'm probably involved in that part. I'm probably a part of that part of the population who focuses on the how. People that are kind of analytical in nature, the how can be the stumbling block or can be the thing that kind of slows progress or impedes progress. And when you switch it to the who, I mean, talk about a really quick way to jumpstart results. I mean, there's a lot in that little saying. There's a lot in that.
Completely.
For a lot of people.
It's funny because you want to bring people in that can buy into your vision, buy into your concept. What's the mission? What are you here to do? And then their expertise inside of your vision is going to help make it roll. And I'm careful not to, I talk about being best in class, but it's very careful how you pull that in, because you might be the best person to work for me, but you haven't been the best person wherever else you've been yet. And it's because you weren't in the place that actually put you in a spot to thrive. And so, when people say, "Oh, I've got the best formula, I've got the best sales team, I've got the best product," the moment you hear that, you got to be skeptical, because best for whom? Best for what? Best at what time? But everything has that opportunity to be the best for the right person, in the right time, in the right format, the right execution, right consumption, right? So if the right people are in place to help make that all go, then it just becomes part of an exponential opportunity with a team that can then thrive.
Wow.
As opposed to just trying to be the best person. How do you even quantify what the best person is? You can be the best radio show host. What does that even mean?
Well, and where's the growth? Because without growth, you become very stagnant and eventually non-existent in the marketplace.
Right. Right.
Jim, you spent a lot of your time doing launches for people. Tell us a little bit about what a launch looks like, and who is it you're typically working with on a launch?
Yeah, good question. The term launch in the coaching and service-based industry world has taken on an interesting connotation. A lot of people think they don't work. Launching is really just a product announcement. We're making an announcement. We actually take it on from a red carpet perspective. If you watch any of the red carpet activities that have just recently happened, I don't watch that stuff, but I hear about them all the time. And, you got the red carpet outside, the spotlights, the interviews, but nobody knows what's going on inside. All they know is something really cool is happening. And so you're building something awesome on the inside, but what's really drawing people in is how well you're promoting it and how much of a celebration you're making about it. And because you got to let people know there's something special happening here. It's a high intensity, short duration activity. And the reason we love it is because our team thrives on launches, because if you say, okay, we're going to sell 1,000 of these products over the next 12 months. Well, that's awesome. But 12 months is a very long time, and you have to motivate people day by day, week by week. When you're running a launch, it might be a 17-day window with a 5-day selling window, and you're looking to sell 100 or 1,000 products. You can get a team to sprint like wild people for 7 days. Right? They know there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. They know what they're striving for, and they know how to roll. And they know what the measurements are. Did this week go as planned? And then because we've done so many, we've got backup plans for our backup plans, because things are moving so fast. It's not a matter of what is going to break or if something's going to break. It's only a matter of what's going to break and when. And so you want to make sure that you're always able to minimize the damage. It's crazy. We roll in an environment here where, we tell everybody who works with us, if you require 4 walls and a ceiling in order to be successful, you can't work here, because there is stuff being knocked down and blown up all the time.
So, Jim, when you do a launch for people, they have to come with their own list. Is that right? Their own contacts.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we help them put the strategy together to take their product and put it in front of the right people. And it starts with, of course, what's the outcome, right? What role does your launch play in the bigger part of your company? Is the launch going to be your introductory place, like you're selling your low-end product to gather a lot of people into your world and then ascend them towards something bigger? Sometimes we use launches to fill a live event. We've just done a bunch of live events in the last few months. We've done about a dozen events. One just last week we had 50 people in it, but we've had a few with 600, 400, 500 people in them, and most of those were filled with a launch. So they did a launch, sold people into a product, added on a bonus ticket to their live event. You go to their 3-day event, sell them a $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 mastermind, and now you have a revenue plan.
So for the listeners thinking or listening today, Jim, what's your percent of conversion? So if somebody has a list of, say, 5,000 people, and you're going to do that short-term launch, what has your conversion rate been for that, so people listening can see if they are a good fit for you?
Yeah, it's not about the conversion rate as it is the lifetime. The most important thing you want to be thinking about is what's the lifetime value of your client. Yes. And you want to make sure that what is it worth to get somebody into your sequence, because it might cost you $1 a client, it might cost you $100 a lead, or it might cost you $100 a lead. But if you know that every person who buys from you, the average lifetime value is $22,000 because they move through things with you over the course of 24 months or so, then you can make a quality math figure on that. Then it's a matter of focusing on what are the activities that are going to take to lead that to a conversion. So, because conversion is a very tricky number. A lot of people, conversions from opt-in, conversions from a Facebook ad, conversions from your list, conversions from the webinar, right? Or from a sales conversation. It doesn't matter what the conversion is. What really needs to matter is that you know what the conversion is, so that you know exactly how many people in equals how many people out. And those are things that we can talk about, based on, we're happy to talk about your strategy, your launch, your goals, and we can say, okay, what's the right tact or the right path to take based on what you're doing? Because most people, 90% of people are not high influencing mega marketers, and you don't need to be. We just talked to somebody yesterday. She wanted a $150,000 launch, and she had a $6,000 program. Okay, great. Go sell 36 units. You don't need to sell 3,000 of these things. Right. 36.
That's it. So, well, guys, hang out. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. We're going to continue the conversation with Jim Padilla from Gain the Edge Now. And please stay tuned to the Imagine More Success radio show.
Audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800 610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Join Patty Conklin and Healing Within Radio each week. More than entertainment, Healing Within offers educational, useful tools for everyday life. Listen for help overcoming fear, anxiety, and depression. Patty knows about eliminating cancer, MS, dementia, Parkinson's, and a host of illnesses that we face every day. Life can be good. Life is good. All you need are simple tools to start changing your life. Start right now by visiting pattyconklin.com, PATTICONKLIN. No matter where you are in the world, you can work with Patty through Skype, phone, or in person, visiting one of her retreats in Georgia. Visit pattyconklin.com today or call our offices at 404-474-0086. That's pattyconklin.com or call 404-474-0086.
Coming soon to the X-Zone Broadcast Network is A Different Perspective with me, Kevin Randall, as your host. We'll be taking a close look at what is happening in the world of UFOs today with side trips into the paranormal. Guests will range from those who are household names to those who have a different perspective on a variety of topics. No topic will be taboo, but there will be tough questions asked as we all search for the truth about UFOs, the paranormal, and those things that excite us. Sometimes we'll agree with a guest and sometimes we won't, but we'll try to keep the program topical. For those of you who would like to read, be sure to visit www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com and remember to listen to the other fine programs on the X-Zone Broadcast Network at www.xzbn.net.
You are back on the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. Thank you so much for continuing to listen today. Our guest today is Jim Padilla. He's the founder of Gain the Edge, which is at gaintheedgenow.com. He's known in the personal development and business coaching world as a go-to guy for all things sales. He's done some really tremendous collaborations with entrepreneurs such as Lisa Sasevich, who is a fantastic sales and marketing coach. And Jim, in our previous segment, we've been talking about someone coming to you and actually doing a launch with their business, and they have a pre-existing list. I have a quick question for you. What do you recommend for someone who is just getting started and who is building their list? How do they know when it's time to do a launch? How do they know when it's time to get together with you in order to do a launch?
Yeah, great question. And, most of our clients at that top level, they're coming to us and we're looking at, 20,000 people opting into a launch, or they got partners and big lists. But we also work with a lot of people who are just trying to figure out how they fit into that launch game. And maybe your goal is only to sell 10 units, over the course of a week and your launch, and now you've made, $100,000 or $20,000. Because for most people, that would be a fantastic experience. And it's not about the size. It's all about how many people are on your list and how well targeted are they? How do they respond to your messaging? And you may not have fancy CRMs and metrics to be able to know, what percentage are open up their email, what percentage have click-through rates, et cetera. Maybe you're just using a Google Doc and a simple email. Then you want to make sure that you can put out an email to your list asking for a simple request. right? Say, hey, are you, I'm trying, I'm getting ready to put this out because I want to help you. Let me know which of these three things are more interesting to you for me to teach. And based on responses, you'll know if people are opening your emails. And that's the really thing you're looking at. So you might put something out to 1,000 people, because that's all you have on your list, and maybe 27 of them respond. That's fantastic. It's not a world beater number, but it's a number you can work with. You now know I put out 1,000 emails and I get 27 back, right? So then you can work with that tangibly to say, okay, of those people, how many of them can I move into a conversation? And sometimes it's easier to do this when it is more organic, because you can actually, you can literally count this stuff on your fingers. You can see the stuff happening before your eyes, as opposed to worrying if the technology is working. And so you can have 100 people on your list, and if 22 of them listen to you and open up, I can tell you right now, you're doing better than a lot of people that we work with who have hundreds of thousands of people on their list and get 8% of them to open up.
Wow.
Such great information. So you have it.
Do you find that that's really dependent on the the barrier to entry when it comes to interacting with the person during the opt-in, or is that what creates the difference in that?
Most importantly, it's your messaging. How clear are you about what you're talking about? Do you actually know what you do and what you stand for and how it matters to people? The term that we've been using a lot around here, I wish I could take credit for it, but the book Eat Their Lunch from Anthony Iannarino, he uses a term called being an expert of the problem. And we're always focusing on how are you becoming the expert of their problem. And the more you can speak to the things that happen in their life and in their business and in their world as a result of this problem, they're going to listen to you, because you're going to be speaking in ways that nobody else is. You can say, oh, it's an election year. And because of that, there are a lot of people that are saving and not spending. And as a result of that, people are taking fewer risks. So they only want to invest in things that they're crystal clear about. And so in order for you to be crystal clear, you have to have your messaging dialed and tight. We'd love to help you with that. Now, nobody else is talking to them like that. So they're going, wow, I haven't heard it said that way. And that's the way you want people to respond to you. You don't want people to say, yeah, I agree. You want people to say, I have not thought of it that way.
Thought in that way. Yeah, because that's the real level of expertise, when you're pointing out something that's a part of their everyday experience that they're not even completely aware of, based around the problem that you're helping to solve.
Right.
I can totally see that.
Yeah, and then you start describing and defining their problem in ways that they didn't even know. And if you can speak to the problem more clearly than they can, then you automatically get credit for knowing how to solve it. And then they want to know what you can do about it.
Wow, very cool. In addition to doing launches for people with these big lists, I know that you also spend a great period of time also working with public speakers on stage. You've worked with Jay Abram, Les Brown. They have a real interesting specific problem or opportunity, which is back of the room sales. Do you do work with that as well?
We do. That is actually one of our favorite things to do. Everybody on my team loves to work at events. And because you're part of an actual live experience, and we were created as human beings to be in connection and in community. And nothing will ever replace the face-to-face sale. And people just need to be in connection to make something happen. That's the most powerful form of a powerful transfer of energy that can be made. And sales at its core is a transfer of energy. And so you want to, and that doesn't mean, having a transfer of energy doesn't mean I'm high and raucous and crazy, even though I tend to be, because I'm a Bronx Puerto Rican and it just is there. But it's, you could be a very low key, subtle person who also has a high level of energy, because you have a huge degree of clarity and certainty that you bring to the conversation. And if you're more committed to moving somebody towards their ideal experience than they are committed to hanging out in their trouble, you'll win. You will move them to do something. But many times they're more committed to owning their circle of trouble than you are in believing that you can actually solve their problem. And so then they win, and then they stay there, which means they lose and you lose, right? So you want to be able to convey that. And everything that happens inside of a room at a live event, whether it's a 600-person event or a 50-person, we actually had 44 people at the event we just did this week. So, and it was over a $500,000 event. It doesn't require a huge room. It requires intimacy at scale. It requires clear messaging. If you're going to put on an event, the number one factor for converting in an event is having the right people there to start with. And that starts with having a crystal clear message and a very well refined promised deliverable. So if you can say, when you come to this event, you will walk away with X, that is so much easier to measure than come here and be transformed. Or, learn wealth consciousness. It's like, how on earth can you define that? And how would they even know? Right? So then it's hard to measure it for you, hard to measure it for them. They don't know if they actually got it. But the more specific you can make it, the more ideally you can put the right people in the room. And as we just, witnessed again, $560,000 at an event where there was only 40 people and technically only 33 buying units, and with 23 of them bought.
Wow.
That's a pretty darn good conversion.
That's incredible.
Well, and that purpose of getting the right people in the room by giving the right message makes sense, because when the message isn't clear, you're getting confused people coming to the group.
Yeah, you can have 500 people in a room and have, we've had 500-person events that produced $500,000. And again, it's a great event. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've also had 500-person events that produce $2.5 million. Because you get a lot of the right people in the place. It's all about the messaging and how well what you're willing to put out there. And if you're doing a live event, even if it might be 12 people in your living room, that constitutes a live event. Just make sure that, again, promised, clear, specific, deliverable, message it powerfully, and do not over deliver in width, over deliver in depth. Right? Meaning, don't teach them everything you know. Teach them everything you know about 3 things.
Yeah. I've had that experience as well. And the best experience I've had have been the seminars where I did leave knowing something very specific, getting a very deep knowledge on a very specific group of skills, rather than kind of a broad generalization about several things. That's really, I know that from personal experience. That's what I found to be valuable.
And it makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's real, and it just has to be quantifiable. Steve Olsher, a friend of mine, someone we've worked with some events, he has a summit, an event called the New Media Summit. And it's the most clear example of this, because his promised walkaway deliverable is that you will walk away with podcast bookings in hand. And that's it. Because he brings in icons, and he has 40 icons, and he runs you basically spend the whole week watching people do a 2-minute pitch to see how many of those 40 icons who host their own podcasts with big reaches, how many of them will offer to book you, right? And some people walk away with 2 bookings, 10. I walked away with 47. I just happened to be lucky there, but it's because other people in the audience also host podcasts. But it's super clear. You know exactly why you're coming. And so the goal is you bring people in, he teaches them how to do the pitch, and then they come in and do the pitch. And throughout the event, he's teaching them, how do you build a business around a podcast, right? And then the offer is, now that you've got now you walk away, you're all excited. You've got 27 booked podcasts. You're going to be a guest on 27 podcasts. Awesome. Now you have a new problem. What do I do when I get on 27 podcasts? And then he sells you a program on how to build a funnel and a messaging sequence and a business around turning visibility into profit.
Well-oiled machine for sure.
Very much so. And everybody here can do that. You all have some version of that. The problem is we're too busy trying to give them everything that we can up front, and it just doesn't work. You just need to solve the right problem for them that will illuminate a new problem at a higher level.
We have some more exciting things coming. So, Thomas, can you take us out?
Yeah,
so we
definitely.
Get right
you
back
definitely
to
want to continue to listen. In the next segment, we're going to have a free gift from Jim Padilla, who's been our guest today, from Gain the Edge LLC at gaintheedgenow.com. So do stick around to the Imagine More Success radio show. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Thank you for sticking with us on the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. Today we've had a really wonderful conversation with a sales leader. His name is Jim Padilla. He is known as the King of Collaboration and the visionary at the helm, as well as the CEO of Gain the Edge. And as the founder of Gain the Edge, he is known in the personal development and business coaching world as a go-to guy for all things sales and as a really powerful collaborator. There's a quote that he likes to share with both clients and friends alike, and it's from the Bible. It's actually from Ephesians. It's written by the Apostle Paul. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Now, when I read that and I thought about that, I said, Jim, that's really the backbone of what you do when it comes to messaging and helping your clients to achieve amazing sales results.
Definitely. I'm a big proponent. I'm an eternal optimist, a hopeless romantic. I see the best side, the high side, and the best of everything. So when I'm talking to a potential client, all I do is get them super clear and super excited about what can possibly happen. And then make sure that they understand the consequence of staying on the path that they are. And then just, we're in this together. How do we help you get to the mountaintop?
Yeah, love that. Jim, when you're working with clients that have these massive lists and that are well known, I think that must give you a very unique perspective because you're seeing results on such a massive scale. Does that help you to refine your technique of what it is that you're doing, or do you find that it creates, say, more opportunities / problems than you can imagine?
Yeah, both. We actually have changed our philosophy last year because we have recognized that we have become so good at putting fires out that we seem to attract a lot of fires. And I'm done. I'm hanging up the fireman suit. I don't want to do that anymore. So we've narrowed our focus on how we approach solving problems and looking for those opportunities. But we are always refining. The beautiful thing about our business model is that we're attached to some of the innovative, most cutting edge business people and entrepreneurs in the game. So as the game changes, it's usually our clients that are changing the game. So we're always attached to that. So we have to we have to be equally primed and up to the task. So they expect us to be at the forefront of the game of conversions. We're always trying something new, risking something new,
Good issue to have.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today, Jim, is leveraging the power of collaboration, because I think a lot of people are missing that in their life and in their business.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I believe that if you prospect for clients as a primary, I think you're already shortcutting yourself. I don't think there's anything wrong with prospecting for clients unless it comes at the expense of prospecting for partners. You should always be prospecting for partners because partnerships is what's going to grow your business. And it's way more than just JV partners. Like, well, you promote me and I'll promote you. It's how are you constantly looking past somebody to see how you can help the people that they serve? Is there a fit? No matter what you do, how can you align with somebody who is in perfect alignment with your beliefs, with your strategy, with your style, your values, who you are, and how can you serve each other's list competently and confidently so that there is an actual need for each other, right? And everything I do, I'm constantly looking for who is an ideal partner for me. I don't show up into any room looking for who can I get as a client. I'm always looking at how can I become a partner with this person? And when that becomes more of your philosophy and your strategy, it will change how you do business because you can knock on 100 doors and to get a client. Mm-hmm. But then when you have a client, that's awesome. But then guess what? You got to go knock on another 100 doors to get the next client. Well, I'm always knocking on doors to get partners who then open up doors to hundreds of other clients.
That's really insightful. And that's really next level thinking or higher level thinking. And do you apply that same concept and recommend to your clients that they do the same thing when they're doing, say, basic networking as well?
Always. And it does a couple of things. One, it takes the pressure off the person in front of you because everybody's so afraid of you selling them something that they're really not even listening to what you're saying.
It's so true. It's so true.
So if you're networking looking for partners, then what you're immediately doing is how can I help you and the people you serve?
And the energy around collaboration rather than sales has to feel so much better for the person that's in front of you as well.
Correct. Because what you're really saying is if I want to work with you as a partner, you're saying I choose you.
Yeah.
And you'd have less fires to put out.
Yes, yes. And it makes life a lot easier. And what happens is then people start showing up differently, right? Because when you start making an intention, like my calendar is full of people who were put there by other people. Everybody on my calendar was put there because someone else introduced them to me, someone else referred them to me, etc. I was, we're very fortunate and blessed. The event that I was just at this weekend, I was emceeing it, and the client that we're serving, we're working with her long term. But she was clear she told everybody in the room, the reason that Jim is working with me is because 3 people, one of which you mentioned earlier, Lisa Sasovich, and a couple others, referred me to her. And so she decided there was no way she could not hire me. And that was before she even met me. So we got on the phone and it was, okay, just show me the details. How's this work?
That's literally a celebrity referral. I mean, that's got tremendous, tremendous value there.
Completely. We've got a whole system that we teach around it, which I think we're going to offer you guys. It's as a gift, as a bonus, to get into the flavor of running your business that way and start it will shift how you do everything. And here's the main thread between it. If you knock on doors and look for clients, you may find an occasional partner. If you knock on doors looking for partners, you will always find clients.
That's amazing. Jim, tell us a little bit. You've got an amazing offer for the listeners today. Explain it to them. Let them know where they can find it.
Yeah, basically, we were fortunate in that we made our first $2 million in our business without spending a penny on marketing.
That's insane.
It is. It's a pinch me moment, and the great part about it, it's real.
There's a lot about your business and what you can do for people.
Right, and it was all about just me building a business based on relationships and partnerships. And in all honesty, I did it because I didn't really want to sell. I thought, well, I could spend all my time being a perfect salesperson, or I could spend all my time constructing an environment that leads people to show up ready to buy. And I said, I think I'll do that one. And that's how it has worked. And that's really what this program is. It's called Leads Made Easy. And the concept is getting people to show up ready to buy. And it's designed as a 5-day challenge. And we just automated it and put it online. And we sell it for a couple of $100, but we're going to give it to y'all here, bonus it to you. But I don't want you. There's no deadline on it. However, there should be some urgency for you. And so if you're going to do this, before you click yes, before you put your name and email in there, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Just write it down and say, I am going to do the work. Because if you do, it's going to shift the game and how you show up and how you see for business. It's going to create a different way of thinking, which is always going to create a headache. We have to learn something new. So be prepared for that. But I'm not sure the dates on this coming up, but we're doing a live challenge around this next week. Will this be out before then? I'm trying to.
Yes. Okay.
It'll be out probably later today.
Oh, fantastic. So we're doing this live, this 5-day challenge. We're doing it in 3 days over 19th, 20th, 21st, or excuse me. Yeah, something in there. I'll double check next week. But we're going to walk you through it. And so you have the opportunity to jump in, roll through it with us live for free, and really figure out how to implement this into your business. And we'd love to be able to do it with you. There'll be a few hundred other people who are running along and having a good time and shifting how you think about business. It's called our Leads Made Easy 5-day challenge. And you'll be amazed at the things that you can see that where you've been leaving opportunity on the table and where that can change for good.
What a fantastic offer. Everybody needs to jump on this.
Yeah, as soon as you hear this, jump on there. So how do they get it?
So I think you have the link there. So it should be at the show notes.
Salesunscripted.com/LME-training.
Yeah. I'm going to send, if you go to Jim P, J-I-M-P, like my last name, JimP360.com, and then there's a button. You can do that on your phone or on the computer. And then you click on the events button. We have a link right there for Leads Made Easy, and there'll be a link that'll take you straight to the challenge. And so go there, JimP360.com, on the events tab, look for Leads Made Easy challenge, and we'll take you right there. And would love to see how this thing works for you and how we can shift your journey towards building powerful relationships that lead to people showing up ready to buy.
Wow. You know what? I just want to take a moment and go ahead and thank you, Jim, for joining us today. You've given some tremendous inspiration as well as education to the listeners, and we're really excited to have had you on here. We look forward to having you back again to hear more about the success, not just in your business, but the success you're creating for the people that you work with and you collaborate with. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. We want to invite you to definitely check out Jim's training when you get a chance. Again, go to salesunscripted.com/LME, Leads Made Easy -training, or you can check out jimp360.com and click on events. It's going to be a live event where you can, in real time, learn how to take the challenge to create extra leads for your business. We want to encourage you to always strive to do more, to learn more, and to create more success in your business, hence the name of the show, Imagine More Success. We want to thank you for joining us today and encourage you to listen to some of our past episodes with other experts that we have interviewed at imaginemoresuccess.net. And if you want to learn how you can create more money in your business, go to findhiddenmoney.com. And we look forward to seeing you next week and talking with you and having another wonderful guest and free gift for you on the Imagine More Success radio show.